Okay folks, welcome to another 8-bit face-off kerfuffle, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at one of the first games I ever played on my Commodore 64. It's Blue Max. Now, it was originally released in the States by Synapse Software, and then it was brought into the UK by US Gold. Designed by Bob Pollin. He programmed the original, which was on the Atari 8-bit, and then a chap called Peter Adams ported it to the Commodore 64. Both the C64 and Atari 8-bit one came out in 1984. Sorry, 1983 I should say, so I mean it is an early game, and then in 1984 it was ported to the ZX Spectrum. Never got a release on the MSX or the Amstrad or anything else that I'm aware of. Yeah, great game. So anyway, let's take a look at some versions and see what ones are pish. And this was back in the day when programmers actually got a mention in the credits for games, which I think was nice. It gave it a kind of personal touch. If you're of a certain age, hearing that tune will just take you right back. Getting all misty eyed there. Right, this is the Commodore 64 one, and I've just made an arse of that. Now the speed needs to go above 90 before you can take off. Now in this game, the controls are reversed from a normal plane. Pushing up makes the plane go up, and pulling towards you makes the plane go down. Now pulling down with fire button drops a bomb, and pressing the fire button fires your machine gun, I suppose it is. Now I believe you can actually complete this game. I've never come anywhere near it, but yeah, the idea is basically to bomb as much as you possibly can. You'll see there's bridges, there's little targets, there's a little lorry, you can destroy him. You got a nice little atomic mushroom cloud thing. If you're really skilled, you can also go down to kind of tree level and destroy some of the little tanks. Now, a few things to be aware of. You've got your altitude on the left hand side. Now when you get that L, that means it's telling you to land. It's just pull down. You want to land as quick as you can, because if you run out of what do you call it? If you run out of what the hell do you call it? Runway space. God, I couldn't think of the word there. Then you'll not be able to take off. Now, if you stay parked, it will automatically replenish your fuel and your bombs, and if you get any kind of damage, it will repair that. So that was the C64 one. Now on to the Atari 8-bit one. So this is the original. See there, the sprites are quite a bit smaller. I don't know if it's my imagination, or do you actually see a bit more of the screen in this version? I'm not quite sure. Now, if you inflict damage, it can stop your machine gun working. It can also stop your bombs working, I think, and you can run out of bombs as well. So you need to kind of be mindful of that. When you see the wee letter P flashing, it means there's a plane coming towards you. This version is very noisy, but then there again, you are destroying stuff, so I suppose noise is good. Yeah, I think you probably get bonus points for destroying the sort of marked targets of that. Yeah, that's Atari 800. Right, the last version is the humble Spectrum. Now, I was never quite sure about the propeller effect. Oh, that's not very good. The propeller effect, to try and make it look like it's spinning fast, it looks more like somebody is waving a stick rather than a propeller. Now, obviously sound is, well, there's not very much. Graphics are okay, scrolling not quite as good. I mean, the thing is, this was quite an early game in the Spectrum, and they did, to be fair, they did improve the sort of scrolling techniques. But yeah, lacky sound, lacky colour. Still plays fine, nothing wrong with the playability aspect of it. So again, when you see the L, you need to land as quick as you possibly can and give yourself enough enough space to take off again. So once it gets above 90, you can take off. Yeah, it does lack sound, which kind of does take away from the game. So there you have it, 3 versions. What is my favourite version? The one that I played, well, you can see there, you can see the Commodore 64 is the top left. The Atari 800 is the one to the right. The Atari 800 one does look slightly more zoomed out, which maybe makes it slightly easier to sort of see things. That said, I do think in this instance the better graphics in the Commodore 64 do enhance the game. Sound in both Atari and 800, Atari 800 and C64 is really good. Again, I'm gonna. There's not a lot to choose between them. The Atari 800 is certainly noisier. I think I do slightly prefer the sound on the C64. The Spectrum one, it's alright. You can tell you're playing Blue Max. It does lack sound. Scrolling's not great, and there's not much colour. So yeah, if you really had to play a version, I would personally go for the Commodore 64. They're saying that the Atari 800 was original and is a great game. Spectrum one, not a bad conversion, but stick with either of the C64 or Atari 8-bit. So anyway folks, until next time, as always, thank you very much for watching.